Yeah, I think our guys had a great week of practice and preparation because it is a finals week. And most importantly, in finals week, your schedule gets disrupted. But our schedule didn't get disrupted. Our guys were able to have classes that didn't allow for multiple guys to miss our normal practice times. Most of their classes were in the afternoon, so they were able to get to their finals and get things done and have their study hours match that. I thought our intensity this week in preparation for the scouting report has been tremendous. LIU is a great team, coached by Rod Strickland. Definitely a very feisty, hard-nosed bunch of guys that's going to come in here and give their very best.
Coach, after a really emotional win against Kansas, what do you tell your guys to know to make sure they stay locked in, during this non-conference play stretch?
Coach, hold on a second.
Well, in June, what we did in June was talk about ourselves as the most important opponent and not having dips in our energy, not having distractions on or off the court. And on the court distractions talked about bouncing back from highs, not just lows or the roller coaster of emotions that come with the season or even the stress. So we've talked about these moments in script, and our guys even mentioned it before I mentioned it in the locker room after our last victory. It's been their message all along, and it's one of those things with a veteran group. They've been in college for a while, and I think when it comes down to teaching the young guys, they've done it by example.
Coach, with Ant Robinson and kind of the growth he's had this season, what do you feel like is going to be the next step in his development? The next step in
Ant Robinson's development, I truly believe, comes from the verbal communication, the more organization, the cerebral part that I think he's grown and gotten better from, even from freshman to sophomore year. Physically, he's continued to gain weight. He's continued to play with an intensity and a violence about him that I think helps. But the thing that helped his jump the most this year was his communication, and that has increased his level of organization. Most young kids or freshmen who become sophomores, the jump comes from watching film, and he's watching film. He has a great routine daily, and he's not been distracted from it. So just staying consistent in it and giving it time.
Do you feel like that's something that comes naturally for him, or is it something that he has to really put in work on?
No, it's natural. He's a son of a coach and a family of athletes. So for me, I know he knows how to prepare. The other part of it is Ant Robinson grew up playing baseball. And when a kid grows up playing baseball, there's a lot of things from the standpoint of preparation, not only preparation, but development, not only development, but in-game procedures and routes and plays and different scenarios and situations you got to be able to sift through in battle. And he's done that. And it's just applying those things into basketball.
So for Tony Perkins, what was kind of the next stage of development in his early Mizzou career?
Yeah, Tony is just about getting healthy, and that's the most important thing. Stacking days. He's doing a great job on and off the court. He was hampered earlier with his injury. The big thing that I saw this past game was cramps. That's what stopped his development in game. But he's stringing along some great days and great weeks, and he's not blinked one time. And he has enough experience. Tony Perkins has enough experience to be able to lend a hand to his teammates, give great advice to young people, but also galvanize our unit.
Are you looking at the next week as a chance to give Caleb Grill some more rest, or is there an update there?
Yeah, it's still the exact same. Caleb Grill is in the same place that I've mentioned, and I'll continue to say those same things. It's day to day, but more importantly, we got to see what he feels like. And ultimately, he's in great spirits. You guys saw him this past week or even in practice, just being there, being available, talking and being involved. And his voice is more important than anything at this moment in his career for us.
As you've gotten through kind of the first third of the season, what have you seen from the freshman group that you've liked about how they've come along early on?
Well, when we look at T.O. Barrett, we understand his position, right? His position as a point guard, combo guard, defensive, a guy that can get into the lane. But I threw him in the game late because I know and I trust his defense and his instincts on that side of the court. And then offensively, he gives us a guy that can really facilitate and do certain things. So when it comes to T.O. Barrett, I think his growth is obviously coming with his opportunities, and he's getting better every day in practice. Honor Boateng the same way. These guys are getting better in practice. Honor Boateng is very, very talented. There is no doubt about it. I truly believe each freshman has their own route, own path to follow in terms of when that moment, that aha moment comes. Honor is right there on the cusp of it. I'm interested to see when school is out who makes that other jump as a freshman, because when they can just concentrate on basketball for the first time being on a college campus, that's when guys get better. That's when guys are diving into certain things, and that's when it sometimes click. Marcus Allen has played more than any freshman this season. But, you know, when it comes down to his defense, he's very advanced on that side with the schemes. His high school coach, it was a tremendous coach, developed several guys, and I think that's what helped when it comes down to Marcus Allen. Peyton Marshall, you guys seen his development. I think he's going to continue to fill out and see when he can be as physical as he can be. But he's a guy we can throw the ball to, and he can impact the game with his passes. And obviously his defense, because he's a space eater. Last but not least, Trent Burns. Trent Burns is just getting on the other side of healthy. We're just waiting to make sure and see where he's going to be at moving forward. So those are the freshmen that we have, and I'm definitely excited about all 5 of those guys and what they're learning each and every week, but more importantly, how much more they'll grow this semester, meaning the middle part of this Christmas break.
Coach, I'm curious, how have you seen the identity of this group develop over the course of non-conference play so far?
Well, it goes because I see it in practice. I saw it in June in terms of their synergy, and that synergy is coming from the personalities in one locker room. And you cannot underestimate how important that is to your identity and the confidence. I think when you have a seasoned guy in the SEC like Josh Gray, he gives a tremendous amount of pressure on our defensive side, and he does such a great job, but it's overlooked and underrated. No one sees his impact, but he's as cerebral as they come. And when he's having great days, his team is going to continue to have great days. The same with Caleb Grill. Even though he's injured, his voice is there. Tamar Bates, his voice and his activity is there. So you look at those guys from the standpoint of what they have as a core given, they provide a lot. And then you look at, you know, Tony Perkins, Aiden Shaw, Trent Pierce, Jacob Cruz, Marquez Warwick. I've said all along our depth is on our side. We just got to make sure we continue to be unselfish and making sure guys are ready when their number's called, and understand player efficiency rating is more important than how much time you get, because you got to be able to do something with the time you have. And our guys are playing at a level of intensity that I think gives us opportunity to be on the best side at the end of the day.
One last question.
Where do you see as the biggest area for continued development as you finish out non-conference play here?
As a team, we got to continue to take care of the basketball. I think possession by possession, that's important. I would like to have some more inside baskets. When I say inside baskets, you got to have a balance back to the basket. And I think Josh Gray, Peyton Marshall, Mark Mitchell, Aiden Shaw, they can provide that. When I say taking care of the basketball, I want a bigger deviation between assists and turnovers, meaning I want to see 18, 19 assists and not just 12 to 14. In years past, we've had games where we've had 20, and we hadn't had that yet. So I think that's an area that I can and our team can improve on. The last but not least is making sure our defense is available and ready every single day. And I think when it comes down to doing that, you got to close possessions from the rebounding. And our team, I want to see Josh Gray in more double-digit rebounding games. I want him to lead the conference in rebounding, and I think he's capable. I want that to happen not only for me but for him. He deserves it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, MIZ.